Okay, so we are live. Clearly, I don't have to press any extra buttons. I just did it. I thought I would have to do something extra. But we're good to go. Let me just kill all this extra sound coming in. And good. All right, so tonight we are playing actually some BXD&D, or if I want to be cool, like you'd play with the OSE book. And we're actually, and I should, because we're playing an adventure written by the same guy, by Gavin Norman, called Winter's Daughter. And this is, it's a kind of a small adventure, but we're going to use it as a launching point for a campaign, kind of a mini campaign set in the Dolmenwood forest, which is kind of a fairy tale, kind of dark fairy tale type environment, a lot of weird, strange things. And as we begin our tale here, there's the group of adventurers. You guys have all been traveling from, and I'm gonna have you introduce Gareth in a second, but you've been traveling to this edge of the forest, to this kind of no-name inn that probably if you've been asked on the roads, they'd be like, I'm not sure where that is. This tiny little place at the edge of Dolmenwood. You know that there's a reason. You've seen a sign maybe, or you've been instructed, or you saw a portent or a dream that you are to meet this man, Ashton, who has a quest that is very important, that needs to be fulfilled. It's more of a gut feeling as to exactly what it is, and you're not sure. You've never met him before, but you know that you must meet him, and you must meet him today. You've been traveling various amounts of times, so you can tell me based on where your characters came from. And I'm going to actually just start with, so Nikki, this is what happens when you come into the event first. You get to be first. So Portessa is a practitioner of magic, right? So perhaps you saw some kind of a portent that told you that this was important. So tell me about like what happened that made you realize you needed to come in and take part in this quest.
I saw myself using special magic that can only be found by doing this kind of quest, especially going into this kind of fairy realm. And I saw myself throwing fire and putting up shields to defend my compatriots. And I want to do that. I am obsessed with magic ever since I saw, as a very small child, a magic user come through my village. So I am doing this portent to learn more about magic. And that's Piratessa.
Excellent. So you're coming into the edge of this, I mean, for lack of a better word, we'll call it a village, maybe more of a hamlet. A few buildings kind of near the edge of the forest, small inn where people stop as they are going somewhere else because nobody's going here. And the inn is kind of a common room in the bottom. And you kind of open up the doors, you greet in there, and it's near the end of the day. People are gathered, people from the road mostly, maybe some locals. I mean, you can maybe tell only because of the fact that they're not carrying, sacks or backpacks, and they're not heavily laden with their goods. Are kind of gathered in on one end, one area, kind of drinking ale, whereas in the rest of the place is these long tables, and you can see just a hodgepodge of different types of people, different from different parts of the country, from different parts of the area, where you can tell by the way they're dressed is some adventurers, possibly some travelers, possibly some people on pilgrimage. But as you come in here, we'll cut back for a second. And speaking of pilgrimage, what happened to Enoch that made him realize that he needed to come to this place and meet this stranger named Ashton? Mike.
Well, Enoch started his whole pilgrimage here by following a beetle. Being that even though he is a priest of the Great One, He has a special appreciation for Saint Cornus of the Angels, who happens to speak through beetles. So he began following a beetle, a rather large beetle that was unusual for him, and he started out creeping along the road, and then as the beetle took flight, he began walking along. And there were various signs along the way, such as ash tree, and then the beetle would land on several stones. And eventually he pieced together that, this is probably something that St. Cornus is directing him to, is this Ashton. So he continued to follow this beetle until he arrived at this tavern out here.
Excellent. And smiling Adrian, tell me, how did Adrian come to know that this was a place he needed to be?
The man known as Adrian, until you get to know him, then everyone will call him Smiling Adrian because it seems he's always happy-go-lucky and joyful and jovial and smiling about something. He's what you would consider a tradesman, a purveyor of goods that he acquires and never asks why or how, but he's always in the lookout for some good or item that he can either buy, sell, or trade, or whatever. So when he hears about this quest, it's all about what items maybe he can find that he can trade for something better. That's Smiling Adrian.
Excellent. So Protessa steps into this this small, gathering space, this inn or tavern. And as she does, she sees sitting at the table, the long table kind of at the end, possibly deep in thought. We'll find out in a second. Chris, tell us about Ashton and how he recognizes a person who he's never seen before in Protessa.
Ashton sits at the table drawn here by dreams that they have had over the past several months. They have a goal that they know they need to accomplish, and something has kind of told them that a force is gathering to help them meet that goal. As Protessa walks into the tavern, Ashton looks up and gets this feeling in their stomach, telling them that, this is one of the people that have been sent, one of the people that are going to help them to meet their goals. And Ashton will hold up a hand and then sort of like wave Parista over.
Protessa will go over there and say, I think in my dream, I saw myself throwing up a shield to protect you.
Before you can even say anything, walking into the door.
Oh, okay, sorry.
No, you're fine. No, you're perfect. That was good. So as you're kind of coming, not before Ashton can say anything back to you, Enoch, you enter into this building, drawn possibly by the beetle.
Yeah, Enoch will walk in. He's dragging a basket of brushes with him, and he kind of sets it down at the doorway, and he looks around, and he goes, is there anybody, an Ashton? I think someone said to meet, is there an Ashton here?
Ashton sees the creepy fellow standing at the door, and the beetle that this fellow's been following sputters and flaps its wings as hard as it can for its last time as it gets to the table and uses the last of its energy to crawl over to Ashton. Ashton reaches out their hand and lets the beetle crawl up into it, and then they close their hand around the beetle as the beetle takes its last breath.
Well, you must be the man then. Pleased to meet you. I'm Enoch Fenton from the Dregs. A pleasure. The saints have sent me, of course. I'm here for you.
So on the other side of the room, kind of or near the end of the table, at a secondary table, Adrian's been here for a little bit. You kind of you knew, just kind of in your gut, that this was the guy that you were kind of drawn to. But being maybe a more cautious type, you kind of came in and didn't make a scene of yourself. You're kind of sitting observing, and you see now 2 more people come and join this man.
Yes, Adrian notices the last one come in, what he thinks is some type of religious monk or something, and he thinks to himself, well, they don't ever keep too much to themselves, so whatever we find, if we do find something, maybe it'll be more for myself. And he steps up from the table with his mug, and he approaches the table where the 2 have approached what he would think would be this Ashton character, and he walks up and he pushes the hood back from his head, and he sets his mug down hard on the table, and he goes, I believe that I'm supposed to be here also. You may call me Adrian.
Ashton nods and waves a hand, signaling that Adrian may sit if he wants. And then Ashton will sort of look over towards the barkeep and make a motion to bring everyone some drinks.
Well, it's a pleasure to meet you, Adrian. What brings you here?
Oh, I'm a merchant, a traveling merchant. I deal in the buying, the selling, and the trading, as you can say.
Oh, well, then I think we're sort of in the same line of business. I trade in souls. You trade in goods.
Oh, yes, I do. And maybe you can talk to me one day about my soul, but for right now, it's fine.
Oh, saints be praised. A small blessing on you and your business.
You trade in souls and you in goods, and I am always on the quest for knowledge. Seems like we are all traders of a kind.
Well, that's very astute. I think. What was your name?
I'm Puritessa.
Pirotessa. Nice to meet you. Enoch, brother Enoch Fenton of the Dregs.
A pleasure, Brother Enoch.
Your name has a ring of fire, so to speak. You're named after some fire spirit or something?
Actually, yes. My parents were, they were illusionists and tricksters, magic makers, they thought. And then they named me Puritessa, as they were, part of their act was fire eating. And then I saw real magic, and I decided to try to tame the fire for real.
Adrian leans back at the mention of tricksters and thinks, trickster. Ah, yes, well, it is a pretty name.
Thank you, Adrian. When I say trickster, she notices he kind of made a face. I mean players. Did they have players? Traveling players.
Oh, kind of like almost like one of those bards then.
Yes, almost like a bard.
That type of trickster. That's better.
Oh, so you're like a jester, except with fire.
I am not a jester, good sir.
Oh, okay. A player of fire.
Let's go with that. A fire player.
Good. Well, could you play us with some fire? Please, a show. Do you need encouragement? I could offer a small prayer. Perhaps you can earn a few coins here.
All right, yeah, she'll take out a fire a stick and she'll light it on fire and she'll eat the fire. She was a fire eater with her parents.
Nice. Yeah, you can do that. So yeah, you bust out the stick or whatever that you use for that, and light it up and do your thing. And yeah, you draw some attention. People that are sitting around the table look, and then a couple of them clap, and then of course it makes more people turn to see what's going on, and they're kind of now staring at you.
Adrian pulls the hood back over his head.
A couple people that have some ale or whatever go, do it again. That was amazing, and they throw a couple coppers down across the table.
Ashton slowly. Sorry. Go ahead.
Oh no, go ahead.
Ashton just slowly reaches into their belt pouch and pulls out a pipe and begins to stuff it with tobacco as they're just clearly watching the show.
She smiles and says, I don't want to draw too much attention to us. I mean, well, obviously I already have, but I think once is enough. Thank you, good people. She smiles and she sits down, collects her coppers.
Adrian looks towards this Ashton and goes, good sir, we've been traveling on the road, all three of us, for some time also to make it to this meeting. Do you think it would be best to also have, you brought drinks to the table, but how about a plate of warm, hot food or something for us?
Yeah, I'm like, Ashton takes one of the candles from the candle labra that are probably on the table, and uses it to light up the tobacco, and then places the candle back. And then Ashton just kind of looks at Adrian and gives a nod, as if to, basically say, order whatever you want.
Oh, well, thank you, good sir.
You want to roll a D30 there, Tony?
A D30, okay. Let me get one.
Let's bust out some
Now
cabins.
the key is when you start rolling it takes forever for it to start rolling. 16.
16. Oh, there is some wonderful breaded lock trout with applesauce.
Oh man, that does sound good.
That's not good. Yeah.
Yeah, he'll order a big helping of that and have it brought. And he looks towards, of course, Enoch and Pyro to let them know that food is on the house or whatever.
It's just so you know, there, Ashton, it's 2 silver pieces.
Okay, just whatever everyone orders and stuff. Just I'll just.
Yeah, I mean, if they all get food, with drinks, we'll say maybe 3 silver pieces. Shouldn't be too much.
Per person.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, this is a pretty cheap place. The ale is only about a couple, like 5 copper or something like that for an ale, because it's like just swill.
Piratessa will just have water. She says, if I have alcohol and not really a good mixture with breathing fire or eating fire, so unless you want to see me breathe fire.
Oh, that would be wonderful. Wonderful. Yes. Breathe fire.
Probably shouldn't do that inside. We'll wait.
Oh.
We'll get some wine for the road, and I'll show you how I can breathe fire.
Oh, this is
so
such a
by the way,
pleasant surprise.
They tossed you 6 coppers.
Okay. I'll just write that down. Thank you.
You might need them. You never know.
Yes.
Okay,
Enoch
yeah,
just
I mean-
extends his hand and says, "Encouragement is worth something, isn't it,
Absolutely.
Doctor?" Well, I did need to give you some encouragement. Perhaps a tithe, a little
Oh,
tithe, a little
oh,
jingle.
she'll give him a gold piece. Jenny,
Oh, this. I'm epileptics. I can't be shut. Oh, this is. Oh, saints be praised. This is fantastic. You can breathe fire for me any day, young lady.
she smiles at you and says, "Maybe you'll put in a good word for me with the
Oh,
Godfather."
yes, I will. I'll pray right now.
I'll mark that off my sheet.
Yeah,
That's
so
happens when you don't have to buy armor.
it's true. Right, magic always have all the money. Yeah, so depending on how much you want to say now or not, Ashton, you guys, continue your conversation. Eventually, you'll bed down here. It's a very large common room. They move the tables off to the side, and people basically just like lay on their own bedrolls. That's why it's only 5 copper. If you don't have something to sleep with, they will rent you for a silver piece, like a mat and blanket and stuff. Instead of the 5 coppers. And anything else you want to do tonight before you sleep?
I think I'm good.
Or during the sleep?
So it's 5 copper to
double
sleep.
team in the party.
I'm sorry, it's 5 copper to like sleep in the.
Yeah, it's
in
5
the
coppers to sleep inside. Yeah.
Okay.
It's literally just so that you don't get thrown out. They walk around and collect 5 coppers, or you have to walk out. Because you're just going to sleep on the floor with whatever you got. Most people that are here, well, everybody that's here except for those few like locals that had left by the time they start wrapping things up, are travelers. So they all just lay down their bedrolls and stuff on the ground, and so it's basically it's almost like stabling. You're just paying for a place to stay. If you don't have that stuff and you don't want to sleep on the ground, then if you give them a silver piece instead, they will give you a blanket and a mat, a straw mat.
Yeah, I'll take that. I'll take a blanket and a mat.
Yep, they'll roll it up for you.
Okay.
And also, if you do that, you notice that they didn't say this, but you notice they put you closer to the fire because this is the fall. I probably should have said that. It's a beautiful fall in the at the edge of the Dolmenwood. The leaves haven't started falling yet, but you're starting to see some change. So you're looking at mostly this kind of dark, green foliage, and then you can just see the bits of the beginnings of like the oranges and reds starting to kind of creep through where the leaves are beginning to change. Let's see. So, as you're kind of gathered there near the fire, people are starting to sleep. An old man. It's always an old man. Yep. Go ahead.
I just wanted to say, Ashton will just give up 4 silver pieces, give everyone a straw mat.
Okay. You're very kind.
This is so good for my bones.
Nick, the freeze wasn't going to pay for it.
I was heading for the door, but the mention of a mat.
So as you're gathered around the fire, an old man sits there and he says, they bring the children kind of to the front, and he's telling tales of most of what you've heard when you were kids, of the various lands of the Fae and the tricksters that they are, or sometimes you're not sure because some Fae have granted great boons upon man. Some have even stayed and spent a portion of their long life with human when they fell in love. But he starts talking about how the reason why that they're coming in is children. You may not know this, but the reason why we even have an autumn is because this is the time of year that the ice cold prince tries to take back his land. For some 900 years ago, Fae lived out in the open in the Dolmenwood, which was covered in snow. And through great battles with men, the cold prince who tried to expand his lands was driven back. And now the Dolmenwood leaves change every year to remind us that we must always be on guard, for the cold may any ever come. And then you could guess. Yeah, so during the night, I'm just going to say this. I mean, you can share it with the others if you want or not, or else you guys don't know. But Ashton, you would get those same kind of dreams that you've been having. And very specifically, you know, or, you know, because that you should be traveling northward towards the large lake, and to leave like just as the sun is breaking and the stars are still hanging in the sky, so you can find your direction. And you kind of wake in the dead of night, kind of knowing that you should get going before the sun is up too high. Otherwise, you might not be able to see those stars to get the direction, you know, to know where you should go. Everybody else just sleeps nicely. Because nobody got too drunk. There's no snake men here. Okay, so let's see what's going on here. So you guys sleep, and I don't know if you want to do as the dream tells you and get up super early and wake the party up early, or if you want to just stick around for breakfast, or what do you want to do there, Ashton? It'll be kind of up to you.
Yeah. Ashton will get up. Ashton probably goes to bed like a little later than everyone else. Actually, Ashton probably would want to go to bed as soon as possible, come to think of it. So Ashton's probably actually the first to like cover up, take their hat off, and like set it to the side, cover themselves with a blanket and everything, and be off to a deep sleep. And in the morning, as the light comes in, they awake and they get their hat and everything and get it back on and begin to get up, and they probably look over to whoever is like manning the tables or whatever and signal for them and say, bring us out a hearty breakfast.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you wake up like as the sun is just cracking, you probably hear, some people kind of moving in the dark. They're not like serving yet, and the tables are all pulled to the side. But if you walk up to them, they'll tell you, oh, well, it'll be about an hour before we get everything ready. There's a lot of people to feed. And you can see the light from the sun kind of cracking through the windows now.
And so Ashton will pull up a chair and just kind of sit by the fire, waiting for the others to wake up.
Okay. Yeah, so by the time the sun kind of gets a bit higher in the sky and is coming through, and everybody starts to kind of get some sun on their face, and they're waking up, and you can smell the food being cooked. It's some kind of like bacon grease inside. Is there breakfast on here? I don't think there's breakfast. You can smell that kind of like that greasy, rich smell that they're mixing in with the oatmeal that you're probably getting for the coffee piece. As they're prepping the morning, the food, you guys kind of wake up and you can see that there are already people who maybe the travelers who stayed here before, they kind of know what to do. They're then, especially the ones that had their own stuff, they've been rolling it up and moving the tables back, helping the people that work here to kind of set up for food. Most are kind of eating quietly and hurried, so they can get out and get on the road. So yeah, so you guys wake up basically.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So everybody gets up. You're eating, I guess.
Yeah. So as everyone is eating breakfast and everything, Ashton will finally speak, kind of like for the first time, and say, We need to find a ring.
What did you say? A ring?
Yes. A ring.
A ring. Is that what you said? A ring. Like a small circlet thing. A ring for the finger?
Exactly.
Oh, I see.
What kind of ring?
It is a ring that we must use to help someone out.
To help who out?
A woman who has
A
been
woman?
taken captive.
What?
A woman taken captive?
I
How
don't
will
know
a...
about that.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, that's fine. No, go ahead, Pyrotes. I was just saying, Saint Cornus, she was taken captive. She was. But then, by the wisdom of the one true God, he helped her be released with beetles. I never heard of a ring though, but beetles, yes.
Yes, how will this ring help us free a captive woman?
He is being held by magical means. This ring is the method to break that magic.
Well, I don't know. I think the saints would have something to say about that.
So I'm still waking up here, but let me make sure we have this clarified. What we are doing is going in search of one ring, which you will take possession of to use to free this woman, but there are no other items that may be acquired that we could have for trade or such.
Do you not listen to stories of grand adventure, of high tale? Places that held magic rings and captive women often are loaded with treasure.
Oh, well, sure they are, but if the woman's captive somewhere, I'm sure it's not going to be walk in the park and eat your cake there.
Well, nothing ever worth having is easy, is it?
That might be true. I should have to pray on this, I think. One should not be too eager just to go running off chasing baubles for where is this woman that you claim is captive?
You must pray on this, because one cannot go off chasing baubles.
Yes.
Yet, one can go off chasing beetles, can they not?
Well, it's the messenger of the saints. Not some greedy little grubbing man. I appreciate a token of appreciation every now and then, but a beetle is a gift of the saints.
The beetle led you to me, did it not? Would the beetle lead you to
Well,
a
see,
little
no,
grubbing man?
look here. See, look at this. These beetles, they're forming a circle right here on the ground. See? Now, this is where I will focus my prayers, and they will show me what I should do. Although, what?
I think the beetles are already showing you. If they're in a circle, doesn't that represent a ring?
Oh, well, saints be praised. It is a ring. Yes, a ring. A ring it is. I think I shall go with you, this Ashton. I shall do this. We will find the ring. You see, the beetles have spoken. St. Cornus be praised.
It seems that Purista is on our side. So what say you, Adrian?
Well, my first question would be, what amount, if any, of priggers are there that will be looking for this item also? And he throws the word priggers out in thieves' cant to see how you respond. It means other thieves.
As far as I am aware, all other family is away on business, which he says to let you know that, he's the only one looking for this item, as far
Perfect.
as they're aware.
No, of course, whatever needs to be done, like I say, I'm sure that if we do find other items that can be bought, sold, or traded, I would have an interest in them.
Of course, as are the ways of the merchant, after all.
Always.
Ashton says, and obviously Ashton realizes that you're not a merchant.
Well, I certainly am fascinated by this magic ring.
Indeed. Well,
I think we should
if
go.
we have had our breakfast and the day is still young, we should get going, should we not?
Well, lead the way.
Yes, because we don't want to run across any of the knights of the road up there.
Yeah, Knights of the Road. That sounds dangerous.
Oh, good sir, it is.
Indeed. And Ashton will get up and begin to walk towards the door.
Yeah, I'll follow him. I'll kind of link arms with Brother Enoch. We're going on this adventure, brother. Aren't you excited?
I have an adventure with a young woman. Well, the saints bless me. I don't know what to do, but I appreciate the company. You're safe with me. Your virtue is safe, I should say.
She smiles at him, pats him on the arm.
Excellent. Okay, yeah, so you guys head out. You can see that groups of people are leaving on their way. This is like I said, it's kind of a way stop for travelers. Nobody stays here very long. They stay overnight, they eat, and they leave. So you're seeing lots of groups kind of. Basically this road runs basically east-west, more or less. It's not perfectly straight on the southern edge of the Dolmenwood. And as you step out and look to the wood, what would you like to do there, Ashton? The stars are no longer in the sky because you didn't leave first thing in the morning.
Ashton will stop for a moment, and Ashton sort of looks up at the sky and seems to be kind of searching for something. And then they kind of look to the forest around them. And does Ashton have a sense of where they should be going?
I mean, if you had listened to the dream, you would have known for sure.
I did. I'm reading now.
I said the dream you just said, where she said to leave before the sun fully crest the horizon.
Oh man, I must have missed that part. Crap.
But yeah, you think you have an idea. You're not 100% sure though. So I mean, whether or not you want to let the rest of the party know that, that's up to you. But you're not 100% sure, but you think that you know what you need to go north. So, and that it that north is into the woods. No more promising way to start an adventure than that.
I mean, I don't know. Did you write that like in the adventure itself? Because
I
I'm not
literally
seeing
said
it
to you during this game 10 minutes ago.
Oh well, I must have misheard when you said that. I thought you meant like because I was reading my notes to make sure I knew what I was doing, and like it doesn't say that in the notes. So my bad.
Sorry.
Okay, well, Ashton will take off the way that they are pretty sure they need to go.
Okay, yeah, you're pretty sure. You got a pretty good idea. You're not 100%. I don't know if you want to tell the rest of the people that you're not sure, but you're not 100% sure.
Ashton totally looks like they know exactly what they're doing.
Oh yes, you tramp off. Did people? I should probably say this because I don't want you guys to get stuck here. You're traveling through the woods. Everybody bought rations, right?
Yeah, I did.
Mhm.
I think. Oh, yeah.
No, some of us rely on the saints for sustenance.
Okay. All right. I mean, you can try to find food out there, but it's not 100%. So if you don't have rations, that'll be the saints or the rest of your party for sustenance, I guess. Okay. Cool. Perfect. All right. So you're heading north. All right. So go ahead. Let's do this. Everybody roll a d6 and also roll a d10 and let me know those results separately. Actually, put them in the chat. So the d6, then a d10.
D10.
Because we plan and we have to roll any dice. So I'm just going to randomly ask you to roll dice for no reason, I swear. Oh. Okay.
All right, a D6 and a D10.
Yep.
I was buying some rations real quick.
Okay, if you're buying rations from there, then there's only standard rations, not iron.
That's fine. I can't afford iron. You guys have no idea. Like I'm sitting there going like, shit, I hope I don't run out of money. Shit, I hope I don't run out of money. But
Cool. Yeah. So you travel, through the day. It is a crisp autumn day. It's still the end of, it's kind of end of summer, beginning of autumn. It's like September-ish. So as the sun begins to rise, it's getting warmer. But there's a decent breeze even with the large trees that the wood is made of. Lots of moss. And it's kind of a cool wood with the sun not beating down on you as you're kind of traveling through. You actually travel for most of the day, without incident. You're kind of heading north. The deeper you travel into the forest, of course, the more heavy and with vegetation it becomes. You probably think, Ashton, that you're following, some trails. You see some like game trails or whatever, that you're following that to make it as easy as possible. And as you're traveling along, you actually step out into a kind of a bit of a clearing in a sense. You're kind of surrounded by trees and you kind of step out. And when you look off to your left, you can see that there's kind of like a cliff face, maybe about 30, 40 feet up. And at the top is a small cottage. You can see that there's looks like there's actually, no, it's actually not a cottage. You would know because you have cleric. There's a small shrine sitting up there. It is well, I guess maybe you can't tell from this distance, but you see a small shrine up there. You can tell by the look of it that it's a shrine. You can see that if you were to continue where you are, there's kind of like a bit of a clearing. You could kind of circle around and come up on, if you want to explore it, or you can just keep going and you'll plunge back into the woods. It is about 4 o'clock. You got it might be like 2 hours ish more of daylight before you'd have to stop to set up camp. Being there, it's the fall. So I don't know if you guys.
I must make my respects to the shrine. If you could entertain the thought of me doing that, I would appreciate it. And the saints would look kindly on you.
But of
Perhaps.
course, and you may find a bush of berries up there that you can get you some sustenance.
It's true.
That is true.
You never know what you're going to find in the shrine. All right, yeah. So you guys can definitely get up there. Everybody's going, I suppose.
Yeah, but Adrian is like hanging back, a good 10 to 15 feet because he's just trying to watch the perimeter and stuff and of everything.
Okay, yeah. I mean, you would notice, I suppose, as you were traveling throughout the day that you're kind of making noise. You're not trying to be quiet, as far as I'm imagining. And most of the time, animals will run away. So you haven't really not encountered much in the form of wildlife at all. Maybe a couple times you've heard things like crackle or whatever. You turn and you see like a deer run or something. But it's been pretty quiet. So you're keeping an eye out. Maybe too quiet, who knows? And as I said, the path kind of goes across this clearing, then kind of winds its way up to the top of the cliff. And you can see that there is this shrine here, and you can make out now, Enoch, when you get up to this, basically to the front of it. So you can see how it's marked. It is a shrine of Saint Vindicus, who is actually the patron saint of mice and beggars. It stands on the verge of the cliff, like I said. Has a beautiful oaken door carved with a diorama of mice and shrews floating on barges around a flooded church. There are no, actually, you notice from the ground, the cliffside, that there was like a large window facing out, but there's no windows on the sides or the front. There's just the door.
Enoch will go up and knock on the door.
Okay, sure. Yeah, you knock on the door. You hear the hollow sound of your fist hitting the oaken door, and wait a little bit. You don't hear anybody moving inside, and maybe the rest of the party came out too, and you're looking around. You can see that kind of down a kind of a narrow winding path, right at the edge of more trees up here, that there's actually you can see just the edge of what looks to be like a very small cottage, because you can see like the thatched roof, but you're kind of looking at a corner of it. You can't see much of it. It's maybe like 150 feet away.
Yeah, Enoch will open the door.
It's locked.
It's locked.
Yeah.
He will kneel and offer a small prayer.
Okay. Excellent.
And
What's everybody else doing?
Takes
Oh,
a couple copper and slides them under the door.
Excellent. Yeah, you definitely can do that. What's everybody else doing while this is going on? Anything in particular?
Ashton's kind of just like keeping a lookout around the area, making sure that they, like everything seems a little quiet.
Yeah, you can see when you're standing up there on the cliffside, because now you're kind of up a bit, that you feel like you can see that large lake that you remember from the dream that you said to head towards the lake. Although the direction that you're heading does not seem to be correct at all. It seems like somehow you veered off, and it should be, if you kept going the way you were going, it should have been like straight the path that you were going. But when you're looking, it's like way off to the right. So you're definitely like off course.
But Ashton can now see the lake.
Yeah, you can see it. It's a pretty good distance. It looks like, however you got turned around, that you kind of made next to no progress, because you basically went diagonal away from it instead of towards it. So you don't think you're any closer to it than you were when you left in the morning, but you're certainly further from the inn.
Okay.
Yeah. How about anybody else?
No, Adrian's just doing the same thing. Just kind of watching the perimeter.
Okay.
Here, Tessa goes over, stands by Ashton, and says, "So, where are we going in this wide vista? Where are you leading us?"
Ashton looks out towards the lake and takes out their pipe again and begins to pack it with some tobacco. And then they kind of like wave their hand, gesturing vaguely.
She looks at you. "Oh, okay." She'll just stand there, kind of looking at where he's looking. Not quite sure.
It's like trying to put your face in front of my face, trying to...
Yeah. Where are you?
Okay, yeah. So you do your prayer. You think you got, like I say, maybe another couple hours max of daylight before you'd have to find a place to camp if you want to continue on.
Ashton will look back to the priest and go, "Are you done there?"
Do you wish to rush the saints? I mean, mercies and blessings come trickling down. This is, Vinicus. One has to be a beggar. I need to beg for a while before blessings are released. This will take some time. One does not make money simply, by begging. It's like you open your hand and money doesn't appear. There is a time and a patience that is involved in this.
Unfortunately, we ourselves are on a strict time schedule. So let us be on our way. I'm sure your God will understand this day.
Oh, I see. Well, then, no blessing for you today. And he just kind of flicks his hand at him a couple of times.
Okay, yeah, for sure. Yeah, so you're done with your prayers, I guess, or as much as you're going to get out of it. Yeah.
Yes.
So what do you guys want to do?
Clearly, there's no respect for the clergy around here.
Yeah, right.
How late did you say it was, Daniel, in the day?
It's like 3 or 4. I mean, it's the fall, so it's going to get dark around. It's going to start to get dark enough that you'll need to be stopping around 6 o'clock. It probably doesn't get like dark until about 7 or 8, but you need time to set up a camp. Assuming you guys set up a camp.
Okay.
Yeah. Ashton will continue to make their way towards the lake then. And, if anyone is clever enough, they probably realize that Ashton is now walking a completely different direction than what they were previously going.
Okay, yeah. So, yes, you head down, and now you're heading back in the direction of the lake. And let's see what you guys find. I have I'm not going to do the whole sleeping thing because I haven't figured out all these rules yet. There's a whole camping thing mini game here. But we will do what kind of campsite you can find. So who wants to roll a d30 for the campsite?
Ashton's leading the group, so I guess I will.
Yep.
All right, let's see. 5.
Oh. Yeah, you find a fern-filled dale. So it's just like a nice opening that kind of open to the sky, and there's nice soft ferns everywhere. And it's kind of in a little bit of a recess, so that when you kind of come into it, you actually have most what you would consider cover. You would probably know when you walk out to get firewood and stuff that when you're standing in the forest area and looking down this area, you can't even see the people that are in it. So it's pretty well hidden as well. It's empty, of course, of any monsters or whatever, clearly. But yeah, so it's actually a pretty good little campsite there.
Yeah.
It's a good campsite.
Ashton is walking and kind of walks down into this area and kind of looks around. And then just kind of out of nowhere, they drop their backpack and say, "We'll set up camp here."
Excellent. Yeah, so you guys set up your camp. And I guess bust out your food. Did you want to forage there, Friar, or are you going to eat somebody else's rations? Or are we starving?
I'm not a friar. I have taken my vows.
Oh,
he will actually just sit there quietly.
okay.
And just kind of looks around at everybody eating.
You're not eating.
So, well, that looks good. Whatever you're eating, that It smells tasty.
Sorry, Tony. Go ahead.
Are you on a fast?
The goodness of the saints and others. You go ahead and enjoy your meal. I wouldn't want to. I'm just going to watch you, if that's fine with you. Just
Well, I'm sure you can dig up some of the
no,
root
no,
bulbs
just,
and-
no. Just go on, enjoy your meal. I'm just going to watch, savor it. Lick your lips a little.
Ashton, like, very slowly spreads some butter across some bread, takes a big bite, just
Can
kind of
I
stares
smell
at
that?
Enoch.
Just a smell, just a little smell, perhaps.
Just chewing their food. Nice night out.
Oh, you guys are not very nice. We players have to stick together, and Pure Tessa will give Brother Enoch some food.
Thank you, child. A blessing on you.
You're welcome, brother.
He'll divide it, whatever you give him, in half, and then give you back the other half.
Okay. Yeah, it was just rations.
Right. So you consume 1.5 rations instead of 2,
All right.
which may or may not become relevant. Because Ashton is lost, but you don't know that. Hey. Okay, so yeah, you I'm assuming set up some kind of a watch. Unless the cleric isn't going to do watches or the magic user.
Oh, he'll watch.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so you guys can do a watch if you'd like. And we don't have to figure it out right now because nothing exciting is going to happen because you're in a very good campsite. You hear, probably all of you while you're on your ships, you hear various, nocturnal animals doing their thing, kind of out and about. But nothing actually comes into the glade at all. It's very quiet, and the ground is very soft, and you actually get excellent sleep. You all kind of have a very similar dream of like an icy field where flowers are actually sprouted up through the to get the grass with the frost on it, and the flowers are sprouted up, and they're just like golden, almost like sunflowers, but all just made of like gold in color, and they're glistening from the sun, almost blinding as you look at them. And as you touch them, if you reach to touch the flowers, they become what does the flowers become? Paratessa that you touch.
The flowers?
Yeah. What do they become as you touch them?
Big, beautiful birds.
Okay.
Beautiful birds, big like golden eagle type birds.
Excellent.
Raptors.
Beautiful. Yeah. So the birds they sprout. Their large wings just come and they fly off, and you feel this kind of, even though it's cold, it's actually this like beautiful feeling of the wind blowing your hair back or whatever as the eagles take off. You don't feel cold. I mean, clearly it's cold because there's snow everywhere. And as you kind of awaken, you've got this really refreshed feeling, like all of you. You have that same vision again as well, Ashton, about the following the stars.
Ashton will wake up early this time and actually look up at the stars.
Okay, yeah. You kind of wake up, slightly ahead of the group. You just like this, like glow. You're in this like glade, kind of sitting here, and there's just this like tiny bits of golden glow of the sun in the morning coming across the treetops, and the stars are still bright in the sky, and you can see the I mean, you may not be familiar with like constellations or whatever, but the shape of the stars from what she was pointing. and you can kind of see where it is. And you were kind of back on track, but not 100%. So you know now, instead of like you were going this way, and then you fixed by going that way, but you kind of need to be going this way. So you know, to kind of spin back around, and you think you have a pretty good sense of which direction to go, at least in the morning.
Yeah.
And as you're kind of looking at the stars, you know, the rest of you start to open up your eyes and you see Ashton standing amongst you, kind of standing, staring at the stars.
What do you see in the night sky there, Ashton?
Signs and wonders.
Wondrous. Where?
Ashton puts their pipe up to their mouth and slowly takes a drag, and then kind of waves their hand vaguely.
She kind of sighs.
Seems to be a thing, right? So yes, you guys get up, and you know, if there's nothing special that you want to do in the morning per se, you know, you roll up your bedrolls if you have them. Otherwise, you kind of just collect yourselves and start heading out in the direction that Ashton has decided that you should head in. You notice as you're kind of leaving this glade that, and you're heading in this direction, you're noticing a lot of actually roll a d20. Crystal.
Okay then. 13.
Oh, lucky 13. Roll a d6, Tony.
All right. A 5.
Excellent. The exact right numbers.
For a dragon to attack?
Right?
Be a dragon. You never know. Won't necessarily attack, but probably it will. Let me look at my little chart here.
This is what happens when you don't pray enough.
It's true. You see the strangest thing as you're kind of walking. You notice that as you're kind of stepping through the forest, there's lots of little you know, like again, it was a fern glade, so there's still like some ferns and stuff. And as you're kind of walking, you notice that as you kind of, they're bouncing, you know, they're like you're hitting with your legs and they're kind of moving. This like sparkly dust is like popping and kind of floating in the air, almost like the strange kind of mist of dust as you hit things. And as you kind of look around, you can see that a lot of the trees and the moss in this area have the same kind of like sparkly, almost like just like it's basically like a dust, but it's like sparkly. And when you go to kind of wipe it with your fingers, it's not even there. It's like it's gone. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Very interesting.
Fire woman, did you know anything about this?
I was just gonna ask, would I know anything?
Maybe. Yeah, go ahead and make a check against your intelligence. Roll a d20 and try to get under your intelligence.
Okay. That is my stat. So let's see. Oh, stupid dice. Oh yeah, I got a 10 under 15.
Oh, nice. Yeah, you think, you know, maybe you've never actually witnessed this, but your best guess is that this is the remnants of pixies.
The remnants of pixies.
Yeah, like pixie dust. You know, like when pixies travel, they shed, or when they do their thing, they shed dust.
And I will say, we should probably be cautious. This looks like pixie dust from actual pixies, and she's a little excited about that, but she's also a little bit nervous. I mean, actual pixies, you guys.
No, this is the dust of Saint Ebtheus, the illustrious. She's blessing our travels and journeys. See the brilliance of her that shines all around us.
Oh, Brother Enoch, you know how much I respect you, and I do think it's very beautiful, but I don't think it's a blessing.
Oh, but it is. See her ever illustriousness just spread out before us, greeting us with open arms.
Maybe it's a little bit of both.
Now, this is a good thing. A good thing, my daughter. A good thing.
Nobody go chasing any lights into the forest. You and Ashton will continue on in the direction that they are pretty sure that they need to go.
Excellent. Yeah, so you're traveling. Again, it's a nice fall day, so it's actually probably some of the best times to travel. It's warmish, but not so hot that you're overwhelmed by the heat, and it's not so cold that you really, that you're having to stop and make fires throughout the day or anything like that. So again, the day goes pretty good. Everybody can once again roll a d6 and a d10 for me.
You want it in the chat again?
Yeah, why not?
Okay.
It seems like the easiest way for me to do.
D10.
Ooh, excellent. Excellent, excellent, excellent. These are some good numbers here, people. Good numbers. As you're kind of crossing this area and discussing the intricacies of pixies versus saints, a wind picks up really, really harshly, kind of out of nowhere, it seems, and the dust is just flying everywhere, and it's this fantastic scene of these light motes kind of flipping all around, flying everywhere around you, almost like you're flying through the stars. It's like they seem super bright, but at the same time, maybe it's just the way your eyes are adjusting in the darkness of the forest as they're kind of whipping around you. As soon as your mind starts to register what's going on, all of a sudden it stops. And when you look around, all the glowing and the dust and stuff is gone. And it's quiet.
All the dust just disappeared.
Yep, there's no more.
So explain this one, holy man.
The saint no longer trusts us going this way. I think perhaps we're lost. We're lost. We've lost our path. That's clearly what is going on. She no longer lights the way for us.
Oh, I lost my path many years ago.
I don't know. That seemed like some sort of very powerful magic to me.
Well, you would be the one to know. I mean, you are the trickster.
But I told you it was pixie dust, so pixies can do magic.
No. They don't. The saints have encapsulated them in their grandeur, and no more shall these fae interrupt the righteous.
Well, we'll have to see. I'm very nervous now.
Oh, don't be nervous, my daughter. I mean, there's nothing to be nervous about, unless, of course, Wallace, you sure we're on the right path?
Ashton takes out their pipe, gives it another little puff. This is the way. And Ashton will start walking a direction.
Okay, yeah. So you travel along, for the better part of the rest of the day. And yeah, nothing else of note really happens. You are finding that now that you're deeper in the forest, maybe these animals, or the wood as would be, are less used to being around people, so they're less shy. The first day as you were traveling, pretty much anything was running. If they even heard you making a little bit of noise, but now you're actually catching glimpses of, various, like small deer, other types, squirrels and chipmunks, and small woodland animals, kind of every once in a while peering at you, and pausing a bit before they take off, less fearful than the initial animals. So either maybe they don't know. Probably most likely they don't know that how dangerous people can be. Would be your best thought there. Let's get my camping thing on again.
The animals become more bold. We should keep our eyes open.
Oh, this is simply a blessing of Saint Vinicus. I mean, like mice, they're no longer scared. They just scurry about us now. Those prayers worked. I assure you, this is a blessed time.
Excellent. Go ahead, since you're looking, Ashton. Since you're leading the group, I should say. Roll 2d6 for me. See if you find anything interesting.
Okay. 2, 1, so a total of 3.
3, okay. And I was gonna say you can actually add 1 because you have. I know he's not a friar, but he's a wayfarer, so I'll give you a +1 for that. Yeah, wherever you're traveling now, there's just nothing that looks like a very safe spot. Either all the spots are kind of very exposed to any wild animals, or don't have a place to put a proper fire without risking the area of setting up a blaze, or the ground is just really terrible for camping. So you're gonna have to camp, I guess, or unless you want to walk through the night. But it's not gonna it's not gonna be very restful sleep.
Ashton eventually just finds the best place that they possibly could hope for, and again will drop their backpack and say, "We shall camp here."
Are you sure? It looks pretty rocky and tree rooty.
Yes.
Yeah, it's definitely not very good. And you might be able to get a bit of a fire going, but you're not really in a position where you could light a large fire because there's just too many branches around, or maybe the ground's wet, or however you want to take that. So you're probably eating your rations kind of semi-warm or cold.
Holy man, can you say a prayer to Saint Celibacy and see if they can help us?
Saint Celibacy? You mean Saint Cornus?
Oh, yes.
Saint Cornus, she spent many, many days on the floor of a dungeon. I think we could spend one night on roots and rocks. It would be a good memory of her.
No, that's fine by me. Would you like to dig up some of the roots here to chew on?
No, the great God, the one true God, will provide. The saints will see to that.
Yes, I'm sure they will.
Oh, the angels will minister to us. You see. You shall see.
And speaking of Mr. Wallace, how many more days' journey is this to where we need to get? You said I forgot.
We are well on our way.
That was not my question.
We are well on our way.
Well, I guess we could all turn around and be well on our way back to the inn and have a hot meal tonight too, then, couldn't we?
Very well could. Feel free to walk back.
Yes, your attitude is definitely needs to improve for the people you hire to help you. But anyway, whatever.
In good time, Mr. Adrian. I promise that you will get everything you seek and then some.
Oh, you have no idea what I seek. But anyway, go ahead, good father. Say a few prayers for us. I think I trust in you more.
Said, see, the saints will bless you for this. A small faith is enough to grow into a great tree. And just like these roots that are here, yeah, may your faith be rooted and grounded in this very earth that we rest on. May your restlessness be the restlessness of your spirit.
Amen and amen. Good night.
Yeah, good night, Adrian.
Ashton's gonna take a torch from their backpack and they're not gonna light it. They're just gonna kind of stick it in the ground next to them in case they need it during the night.
Okay, fair enough. Anybody else doing anything special?
Just on the lookout for pixies. She wants to see a pixie.
I'm looking for beetles.
Oh, please do not let us run into pixies.
No, Pure Tessa wants to see the pixies.
Well, you've never been in a Daniel game with pixies.
Oh yeah, Nikki doesn't want to see the pixies, but Tessa does.
Just the fear of pixies is enough. So yeah, it's a rough night. But you're all able to sleep. Go ahead and make a D20 roll under your con, equal to or under, or suffer some penalties today.
Okay. Ooh, made it.
2.
8.
I failed horribly.
Yeah,
Oh.
I failed too.
Okay.
Oh no.
So you're going to be -1 on attacks and stuff. Basically everything, except saving throws, we'll say, for the day, until you get a good rest. Yeah. You're feeling kind of crappy. Maybe you ended up on the wrong stump.
Adrian is
wet.
waking up every night, keeping an eye on their employer. He doesn't trust their employer at all now.
Right, you're waking up. You see that all of you have a very restless night, and you have those beautiful dreams you had are gone. Just darkness, and when you wake, you're kind of groggy in the head. Nobody really slept that great, and not even do you have the dream of the stars. Actually, I mean, you know which direction you were going. And you could certainly continue to go in that direction, but you didn't get any extra guidance.
Okay. I mean, yeah, Ashton only knows to go that way, so that's what Ashton will continue to do.
All right, so everybody do the same thing, D6, D10.
Oh, we need to get rid of a ration, right?
Yeah, and everybody should have. Well, I don't know if you fed the fryer or not. I'm sorry, the priest.
It's okay. There's no respect for the cleric.
Oh no! Oh yo, I would have. Yeah, I'll do one
I
and a
keep
half.
trying to
ration.
dig roots for him, but he won't eat them.
No, you got another half ration at least.
You wake up with a penny under your head. You just keep slipping copper under you as you sleep.
Okay, yeah, perfect.
I would think
So,
with all this
yeah.
copper, the priests could have bought themselves some rations.
One must live by faith.
Indeed. Oh, all right. So that's everybody. You all put your numbers in the chat.
Oh, I'm sorry, I have not yet. Oh, nice. Oh, yes. All right. Yes, my favorite combo ever.
Oh boy.
So you travel. It's a tough day. You're like I said, groggy, and it's a little bit. It feels like it's a little bit colder as you've been traveling. Maybe it's getting a little even more unseasonably cold, or maybe it's just the ground you slept on last night got into your bones. But as you're traveling through the forest on this day, you definitely see more and more kind of woodland creatures They stare at you. Maybe a bird stops and watches the party as it treks by. Then you look off a few minutes later and you see a group of deer just staring at you, longer than maybe feels super comfortable. But Ashton's pretty sure he knows where he's going as he heads through the forest. Nothing really nothing happens that's dangerous, but you definitely are getting like an upper level of creep. It's getting darker, it's getting colder. The animals seem maybe a little bit uncanny in their lack of fear of people. Even if at some point you bang something, to see if they'd run, they kind of hesitate just a little bit longer than you feel like they should. All right, Ashton, let's see if you can find a campsite tonight. 2d6.
All right. Hopefully I can do better this time because I think I'm about to have a mutiny on my hands.
Maybe.
8.
Okay. Yeah. You find one. Or give her a d30 here. We'll do 30.
Okay. Oops. Come on, roll, you stupid thing. 28.
28. Oh, that's good. Nice. You see as you're kind of traveling, and it's mostly been evergreens, at this deep in the woods, but you kind of see an area where there's some light coming down and it draws your eye to it. And as you kind of start to walk towards it, you can see that there's a handful of like oak trees that have actually dropped their leaves early, it looks like. And there's lots of kind of fresh, and then also from the previous years kind of built up as mulch, just piles of soft ground. Looks like it'd be comfortable to sleep in under this tree. And as you approach it, you actually hear the tinkling sound of a brook nearby as well. So yeah, you hear a brook there.
I begin collecting acorns.
Roll a d20.
5.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, you get. There's not many acorns. you get 5 acorns.
Adrian is going to
There's
go
a lot of
down to. Oh, I'm sorry, Daniel. Go ahead.
There's a lot of acorns, but there's only about 5 that aren't like rotted from through the year.
Right. Are there beetles in them?
Yeah, there's beetles in the other ones. There is a brook.
Yeah, Adrian's going to go down to the brook and the stream, and he's going to fill his water skin and also see if there's any small fish or anything he could try to either catch or maybe shoot one with a crossbow.
Sure, yeah. Roll a d6. Let's see if there's anything in there.
5.
You don't see any fish. The water looks. I'll tell you what it looks like. Roll a d30.
All right.
Oh, there's lots of d30s here, so we're gonna have to.
Yeah, it's neat how he uses the D30 charts.
Yeah.
That is a 1.
1, perfect. This is actually more like so. It's kind of like a spring, in a sense that you can hear like the water trickling, but really it's kind of trickling out of a rock and just forming like kind of a large. Well, it would almost be like a puddle. I mean, it is a stream, but it's not like a full on. Then it seems to go back underground. So you're kind of catching like almost like a, for lack of a better word, like a natural well where the water just kind of pours in freshly. There's like this pool here that's small, but it's not bigger than like 3 or 4 feet wide, but it's maybe like 6-7 inches deep. So there's no like fish living in it because it's too small. I'll roll another d30.
All right. Yeah, he'll definitely fill up his water skin. 2.
2, fantastic. In the water, actually, it's actually a I don't know the word for this. My brain is not working. It's got natural bubbles in it. It's like a seltzer spring. It's
Okay.
carbonated, if you will. And go ahead and roll one more d30. There's a whole building string.
18.
18, perfect. It's got a little bit of a salty taste to it. Maybe it's like mineral water. It's basically mineral water. It's bubbly and has a salty
Huh.
taste. But it's refreshing. Roll one more d30.
All right. An 8.
8. Oh, okay. Yeah, it's delicious. There's a lot of it. So at first you're thinking, oh, well, this is pouring in kind of slow. But when you fill your bottle, it doesn't even seem to, or maybe a couple bottles, doesn't even seem to drop it down. You know, there's plenty of water for anybody that want to fill theirs, canteens, but there's no food.
He'll go back and throw his water skins down and look towards the priest and go, if all you're going to eat are these acorns, you probably better go and get you some of that fresh water from the stream. It is very tasty, yet a bit salty, but you will find it refreshing.
Oh, well, thank you very much, Adrian. I appreciate this. See, a turn of heart. That night on the roots, well grounded. You're well grounded now. I begin to see why you smile so much.
He just looks at you and smiles.
I'll make my way to the stream.
Ashton's also going to go to the stream and fill their water bottle, and they want to look around the stream. There should be plants growing. They want to look for some bushes that might be growing some kind of berries or something.
Sure, roll a d6.
Okay. Boom, 1.
Yeah, you do. You find it's the fall, so it would probably be blueberries. Blueberries in the fall, right? Rather than summer. I'm gonna say the blueberries.
Blueberries, August, yeah.
Yeah, they're August, right? So yeah, we'll say they're leftover. So it's not, they're very fat, and you do see some of them are kind of past their prime, but yeah, there's a blueberry bush there. I know it's not raspberries because the raspberries in my backyard are growing now, and it's middle of summer.
Yeah, so Ashton will begin to pick blueberries for everyone. Getting as many as they can.
We'll say roll a d20.
You're not going to let me roll the fun d30? Nah, 4. I rolled a 4 on d20.
Yeah, there's not that many. I mean, there's certainly not enough for a ration. It wouldn't be but as a supplement, it's probably fun. I mean, it's more than Enoch's been eating.
Yeah.
But if you divide it amongst everybody, it's more like a little dessert.
Well, I would say that Ashton will walk over to Enoch and will put them into Enoch's hand and say, the clerics will provide, and then and then Ashton will just walk away.
I got 2 questions, Daniel. Or one of them's for Pyrotessa. Did you go with Ashton and Enoch to the stream?
No, I didn't say I did, so no.
Okay, well, never mind. I'm not going to do anything then because you'd be a witness to it.
I mean, I could say yes.
No. I mean, I didn't know. I didn't know.
say yes.
No. I didn't know if you went or not. I didn't think you did, but I wanted to make sure.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you want to fill your water bottle from the stream. That you haven't, since you had such a bad camp last night. You're probably out of water pretty much. So you may want to fill your water bottle, but
I would fill it, but yeah, I probably waited till they came back. So
yeah, so you're not splitting yet. You probably took turns.
Yep.
Yeah, so you do that. Between a few acorns and some blueberries, and maybe the generosity of Pyrotessa, you might be able to eat again tonight.
Yes, I'd say a blessing for everyone.
Nice. So this is a great campsite. Even though there's lots of leaves, I mean, you can still, there's a space where you can kind of you push some rocks aside and you make a little campfire. There's plenty of standing dead trees, so you can break the branches off and make a beautiful campfire. It's very, very relaxing, especially after last night. You would have taken almost anything, but this would be a good campsite in any time. And as you're kind of gathered around the fire, maybe discussing maybe what you're going to do, what the plan is, you notice that one by one, your skin becomes transparent, and you're not invisible. Your skin becomes transparent. So first you notice it happened to of course, Adrian, then followed by Ashton, then Enoch, and then eventually Puritessa. Within a few minutes, your skin is also transparent. You feel normal, but when you hold up your hand, you see, well, probably what you've never seen before, like functional, because there's no X-rays. It's like you're looking kind of in an X-ray, but you can see the any flesh is basically transparent. So you mostly just see bone. You basically you look at the skeleton.
Ashton, those berries you gave me seem to be having some effect on my eyes. I mean, what was that you gave me, man? I mean, I'm seeing things.
I don't think it's just you. Are you sure that water was good, Adrian?
I do not believe it was the berries, man of faith, because I did not eat any of those berries, and I am seeing the same thing. It must have been something in the water then.
Well,
You're
that's,
close.
close to the ring or the woman? What? I forget. What are we trying to find? A ring? Oh,
The ring. The ring
what?
to free the woman.
To free the woman. Yes, a ring to free the woman.
This is very strange. What kind of magic could do this?
Well, you're the one to answer that question.
Do I know what kind of magic would do this?
I mean, you would. Well, you can roll intelligence.
Okay. Yep, 9.
Yeah, fairy magic.
Yeah, I figured. She's
The kind of magic that screws with you. Yeah, fairy magic.
She's like, this is both troubling and exciting. This is sort of what I came here to find. You all have very lovely bones, by the way.
Thank you. I think. Yes, and your bones are quite lovely too.
Thank you.
Do you? Did anybody have any broken bones or that have healed? Probably something.
I didn't.
Probably not your first level. Not yet.
No,
Yeah, give
I'm
us.
anticipating those.
Yeah,
Yes, no, they will come soon.
I would tell
So-
Adrian though. I think this is fairy magic, obviously, but I would say that to him.
Ah, yes.
Yeah, you would know too that. Oh, that's what I'm looking for. That fairy magic is fickle.
Yes.
I'm looking for the fickle, so fairy magic, which is literally a thing in here. And obviously some kind of high-powered magic user might be able to remove such things, but sometimes it just goes away on its own. You're just not really sure because it is very fickle. Who wants to roll a d12 to see? Or do you each? Oh, I'll give you the option. Do you each want to roll your own d12 to see, or do you all just want to go with one roll?
I put it on the magic user to roll for us.
Hey, I would.
Yeah, let's do that. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
fun for me. Good. I'll roll it.
Do it.
We have to blame somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Give it on me. I rolled a 2.
Fantastic.
Oh God.
2 years.
Right?
I mean, you're gonna know. I now have to keep track of it. Yeah. All right. I know them. Let's make a note of this as the skeleton crew is hanging out.
Welcome to the Bone Zone.
Yeah, as you guys are kind of pondering the strangeness of being turned to transparent skinned creatures in the middle of a fairy forest, and perhaps this is a good place to leave it because we're going to be doing short games, and we'll pick up next time, and hopefully you won't be lost anymore. Not that you're lost. I'm not sure if you're lost or not. I don't want to say that you're lost, but you might be. So thanks guys.